Hello, and welcome to HRBC's show called Let's Talk. So, today we have as a guest Mr. Cash Green. He's currently running for City Council in Virginia Beach for District
7.
7. So, welcome.
Welcome.
Would you like to tell us a little about yourself?
Yes, my name is Cash Jackson Green, but I go by Cash Green to make it easy. Um, I am a community person by nature. Ever since I was 16, I started in the ministry and speaking in front of large crowds. And I knew I had this passion to serve people ever since I was young. Um, from there, I went into the oil and gas industry, which was a field that helped me to understand processes, and we made procedures that kept people safe, kept them from injuries. So I became a big believer in policies, right? And I worked in the oil and gas industry for a number of years. And then after that, I came into my calling, which is negotiating contracts, which I do well. I've been doing it for 8 years. I'm very confident. I listen to the customer, and I'm able to get the job done. Now, that's my professional field. But when it comes to what makes me a heart, the person that makes the life blood flow within me is my beautiful wife, Kanika Jackson Green.
Hey.
Together, we have 5 adult children, and 2 of them are actively serving our country, one in the Air Force and one in the Navy.
Yes, go
So
Navy.
that's right. So that's a little brief introduction about me. I'm very customer driven, very people driven, but I'm passionate. That's one thing about me. If I'm given a task to do, I'm going to do it to the utmost ability.
Okay. So, I have a few questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Um, All right. What made you decide to run for city council?
As I'm sitting at my desk year after year, negotiating contracts, making sure that my residents or my customers had the best deal, I felt like I was pretty good at this, right? And making the owner happy and making the customer happy. I realized that I had this gift of really listening and bringing a well balanced environment where it wasn't going to be tension. I was going to be able to diffuse the situation. And so, after doing this about 7 years, I realized with one customer in particular, she said, "Do you know who my city council person is?" I was like, "No, I don't know you're a city council person, but I'll find out." And from that point on, I learned of the job description of a city council person, which is to represent the people's needs, wants, and issues. I felt like I can do that because it's what I naturally do in my job function every day. And then from that point of view, I said, God, I said, if you're calling me to do this, then you really have to open the door because my skills lie in, uh, finance and the ability to look at what they're making, the residents, what they're making, and then put them on the right car budget.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, if you're going to do this, then you've got to get me involved in local government. And the rest is history. I serve on 2 boards, city council appointed boards. One is the library board, which I love. I'm a fan of the library, right? I believe in reading, and I'm going to promote reading at our lowest levels. So third grade is where I'm really going to make a stance for reading to our kids at home and at school. So the library board, and then the second one is a flood mitigation committee or advisory board, which we actually call PISC, which is abbreviation for Process Improvement Steering Committee. And it deals with all city processes that could need some or use some improvements. I've been on that board for about 2 years, the same with the library board. And so after that, I felt like, okay, I can do this job.
Okay. Well, what's the library board? What y'all be doing on there?
Reading.
What y'all be doing?
So, so in the library board, which is different from um, the school board are dealing with the school books. That's different. We deal with the public books. And so our job as a advisory board is to ensure that we've got the funding necessary to keep the public libraries open. That's really, we deal with the mechanics of keeping the public libraries funded, relevant, and we also deal with the employees, making sure that that the employees are repurposed, or compensated, or rewarded. So we do a lot with the mechanics of the behind the scenes of how the public library will continue to function in present day as well as in the future. So we are a advisory board. We advise Director Knight, Kimberly Knight, on some areas that she may not have looked at and how we can keep the libraries vital to our communities.
Oh, okay. All right, all right. So before now, how have you served your community?
Um, I've always been community driven, have always, like I was saying, ever since I was 16. But when I came here, I immediately got involved with the Salvation Army, which is an organization that is about rehabilitation. From there, I found that I wanted to begin to pour my knowledge and my experience into the youth. So I joined an organization called the 200 Plus Men's Organization. And you've heard of them.
Yeah, I went to one of their the events.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm grateful that I have a mentor, a mentee that I'm able to mentor. Um, then I went on and joined the police foundation board, which is very important. I did that because I had some misconceptions about police officers. Me being black, I just wanted to make sure that what they were taught on the inside um, is what's happening in our city. So, so I wanted to find out more about the police department, which I'm grateful to retired Chief Jacobs, who helped me and was instrumental in explaining the role and the task of what the police organization is designed to do. So, lo and behold, I became a part of their board where I'm able to advise and be on the inside. Another one, get ready for this.
Okay.
I'm also on the Rotary board.
Okay.
So, and the Rotary is geared about community, right? So we're all about community. And then the last piece of the puzzle that I joined, which was the VFW auxiliary. And
Okay.
why that's important? Because my father, who of the Vietnam era, had went over to, he was scheduled to go to Vietnam, but stopped in Germany. And when he came back home, he was never the same.
Hmm.
And so I want to be a bridge to family members who are affected by PTSD. I want to provide hope. I want to provide an avenue. So I became involved in all of these boards in a way of giving back to the community. One, so I can say that I I'm relevant. I'm boots on the ground. I understand the needs and the issues in the community because I'm plugged in. And on top of that, I work 40 hours.
Mm. Okay. So you're a busy, busy person. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I'm busy.
So, explain your tax rate reduction policy. Can you give examples of the specific groups or industries this may provide relief for?
Yes. I'm zeroing in on the middle class,
Mm-hmm.
which I looked at my life, and if you are making anywhere from 80,000 a year to 100,000 a year, a lot of that is going to be soaked up in taxes. And if you have a family, and if you have a home, or if you're working every day, you're not getting all that money. So even if it says 80,000 you grossed at the end of the year, you're not seeing 80,000,
Yeah.
right? It may feel like uh, 50,000. And so I looked at the tax rate, and then I looked at areas where I can try to put more cash green back into their pockets. And one of the ways that I looked at was the personal property tax. Now, I have more information, but I'm going to give you my view of personal property tax at the
Okay.
place when I started this journey. If you pay for the car, you buy it from me, you pay for your personal property taxes, or you pay for the taxes on the car right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
Then a year later, or whenever that time frame is, you're gonna pay for it again. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're like me, 80,000 or whatever you're grossing, you're gonna need more or most of that money to help your families, to help yourself to get back and forth to work. So I looked at the personal property taxes, and I said, how can we reduce the personal property taxes where residents can take home more of their check?
Mm-hmm.
And the example came from, have you ever heard of the TIP fund? TIP.
No.
Well, when you come to Virginia Beach, which is it's a beautiful location, right? People come down here. They love Virginia Beach. It's a beautiful city, but
Yes.
it's also a great place for people to come and enjoy a week or two. Tourism, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it deals with tourism, and so the fees that we charge those who come to Virginia Beach. So it's a tip fund.
Okay.
It's designed to keep our oceanfront beautiful and vibrant, and a place that people would come want to come in and tour, or to visit or to stay. Well, if you're in my district, which is District 7, um, which is by Regent University, Elbow Road, Indian River, um, we're about 20 minutes away from the beach.
Mm.
And so I wanted a way for us to take some of that tourism money, which we are growing and we're going to get bigger, take
Mm-hmm.
some of that money and alleviate or take the pressure off of the taxpayers. One of the ways I can see how we can do that is by the governor's proposed, because it didn't make it to the budget, but his proposed agenda to do away with the personal property taxes.
Hmm.
And and what that meant for me as a working class is that I get to take more of my paycheck home and
Okay.
less paying taxes.
So people always say that if you take something away, you would have to bring something up to
Yeah,
cover that. So
right.
what would be brought up? Like
Yeah.
what would balance that? The money
So
they lost from personal property tax, which I agree. I don't think it's very fair. I pay taxes when I buy a car,
yeah.
and I pay taxes forever. It feel like after I buy the car. So,
So I'm with you. There are other ways that we can generate money, and so one of the ways is, this is my stance. I'm pro business, pro education, and pro workforce. We need to strengthen our hands when it comes to inviting more businesses to come to Virginia Beach. Because if we can invite more businesses to come to Virginia Beach, they can help replace or replenish where the taxes was being taken out for our personal property taxes. Maybe they can fill the void by their business taxes somehow, some way. I still have some other things that I'm working on, the logistics of that. How we,
Mhm.
if you take away something, you need to keep it going. Because after talking to uh, the city clerks, after talking to the the program director, uh, which he helped me to understand about finances in terms of the city jobs. People are dependent on that personal property taxes, and we've got programs already set up because of that personal property taxes. So I don't want to take away jobs, but I do want to give some attention to the taxpayers. And I think we can supplement them very easy by inviting more businesses to come into Virginia Beach.
Okay. All right. So, next question. Can you explain how your rising cost of living policy
Yeah,
will address the struggles of most families?
yeah, yeah. When you go to the grocery store, everything is high. Eggs are high. Bacon, I love bacon. Bacon's high. Um, we need to do something. One of the jobs of city council is setting the tax rate, right? That's one of
Mhm.
their jobs. So I'm not sure why we're not looking at ways that we can lower the tax rate, and maybe grocery stores are have some state regulated things, but I know we pay some city things when I get my receipt. So I think there's some things we can do with the local grocery stores, the restaurants, the stores, where one of the things that I'm going to do is try to fight to keep that tax rate lower so that we don't have to pay so much because you live here in the tourist state and city. Um, I want to be able to put together a policy, and so that's what's online. So where we can take more of our check, and then when we're spending our check at the restaurant, it's not all being absorbed by taxes. If you look on our your receipts, there is, I don't want to say double tax,
It's
but
two.
there's a double tax.
Two.
Is anybody looking at this? And so, right? And so, me being the negotiator, the ways that I negotiate is very simple. I'm going to do it first diplomatic. I'm going to say, listen, there's a way for us to provide and give to the local stores what they need because we don't want anyone to lose their jobs or people to be bumped down in salary. But I'm going to use diplomacy to look at all areas where we can balance, and there's the key word, balance the budget. It's not balanced for the residents.
Hmm.
Maybe it seems balanced when you grab the spreadsheet. It looks balanced via numbers, but the residents are saying different. It's not balanced. So I've got a way and some mechanisms with my policies that we're going to balance the budget.
Okay. All right. Now, can you talk to us about your ensuring community safety policy? How
Yes.
exactly does the policy emphasize the importance of addressing systemic issues such as poverty,
Yeah.
inequality, and lack of opportunity to create long-term solutions for enhancing community safety
I, I,
workforce?
I love that question. Thank you. I mean, that who did you write that?
Technically, I did
See,
off
um,
your website, but
that's right. Um, so again, I am a fan of the police department looking like the community, and the community looking like the police department. And that's where you begin to address issues that are historically haven't been right, especially for those of color.
Mm-hmm.
And so, one of the ways that I'm going to ensure that we remain here in Virginia Beach and District 7, which is patrolled by the 4th Precinct, is that when kids and adults see our police department, it's going to be a reflection of the community. You'll see all different nationalities that are representing uh, our police department. And I think that's the beginning of my policy where I'm ensuring community safety. First, it starts with how do we keep our city safe? It's by the police department, the emergency services, those that are the fire department. So that's one of the ways we want to make sure that the community looks like our emergency services
Mm-hmm.
and our emergency services look like our community.
Okay. All right. So I saw on your Facebook page you say people over politics.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Um, I'm not a politician. I didn't set out years ago to become a politician. I saw a need, and I said to myself that I can fill that need. I'm confident that I can represent the people with being diplomatic, with being, if I have to use authority, I'll use authority. And if that doesn't work, then I'll use leverage and I'll get the job done. So I sort of looked at everything and said to myself, um, I'm the right guy for the job, right? And and if you don't answer the call that God is tugging on your heart, then I don't want to say shame on you, but shame on you. And so I answered the call, and I felt like I had so many excuses. I'm not a lawyer. Um, I didn't come from a family of politicians. I'm a part of the working class. I'm certification through all of my life, from my pastoral license all the way to my certification when it comes to dealing with heavy equipment, and certifications when it comes to being OSHA related, OSHA certified. And when it comes to being a sales agent, I'm certified as a sales agent. And so I had all these things, no, no, no. But then I looked. I'm very effective. I've got about 1,000 cars that I've sold on the road today. I've been the number one sales agent here at RK Subaru for the last 6 years. And then when I worked at Perry Buick, I was the sales agent for the last 2 years. So I I felt like I ran out of excuses, and God was setting me up for me to say yes.
Okay. So we have a community question. They want to know, how do you feel about collective bargaining?
Oh gosh, that's like ask me how do you feel about the president? Which president do you want? All right, so I'm going to give you my answer about collective bargaining, just like I said a couple of days ago. Um, I'm not in favor of collective bargaining,
Okay.
and let me explain my position. I'm not in favor of it because one, I don't know enough about it.
Mm-hmm.
Two, in my thinking from being a part of the working class, I'm a fan of promoting managers who are good managers who will listen to their employees and will do everything they can to assist their staff or those who work under them. I think we're removing the managers from being effective managers if we call in a third party outfit to oversee the managers.
Mm.
Then why are you paying the managers to be managers when they can't manage? So I'm a fan of systems working. I'm very process driven. And I think we need to first look at our management system. If we are so concerned that the employees are not being taken care of, then what do we have managers for? Then what type of jobs are they doing? And
Mhm.
have we need to hold them accountable. Let's start there. Let's start there. Before we go to collective bargaining or use that as an option to go to collective bargaining, let's go to the source of what's creating us to think that we need collective bargaining. That's my thought.
Okay. All righty. So, top three things you hope to accomplish if elected.
Top three things. Number one, I want to keep Virginia Beach the best and finest place to bring your kids and your family as a beautiful vacation spot. That's right.
Mhm.
Because remember, the more people that come in vacation to Virginia Beach, I'm going to try to use some of that capital to alleviate stress off of the tax burdens here in Virginia Beach. So that's number one. We want to keep it very competitive as the number one tourist spot in America.
In
That's why you need
America.
to like me. Uh, Number two is we want to keep education paramount, whether that's homeschool or whether that's in the school uh, system. We want to keep our educators. We want to keep them happy. We want to pay them what we pay other um, cities. We want to make sure that our educators are well taken care of so that our kids can get a quality, top notch education. So we want to make sure that our education is top notch. And number three, we want to keep Virginia Beach safe. And might I add, safer, right? So I'm always going to champion partnering with the local law enforcements, the fire departments, the EMS, because we've got to make sure that when people are vacationing here or you're living here or this is the place that you retire or your grandkids are here, um, that they know that this is a safe and well protected city.
Okay. So we got another community question.
Okay.
Recently in the news they had what was it, Kentsville High for the baseball team forfeiting the rest of their season due to racial incidents. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's never ideal to have racial slurs or racial tension. That's never something that I'm going to look at that very intently. Um, we need to hold some people accountable when it comes to that. So my thoughts when it comes to that, let's do the right investigation. Um, I'm not a fan of when it comes to racial slurs, but we need to do our due process. Right? We've elected people, we've hired people to be in charge, and so let the due process work out. If that due process doesn't work, then let's put an oversight committee over it. That's my thinking so far.
Okay. All right. Well, those are all the questions that I have. Is there anything else you would like to tell the people?
Yes, I want the people to know that the reason why it says people over politics is because I truly care about the people. I'm not your average politician. I'm boots on the ground. I'm actually working every day to make Virginia Beach better, that our communication improves. I'm working to keep the tension down, and I've been doing this a long time. I want you to know that I'm not directed by anyone. I know how to think by myself. This is why I'm running my campaign. I want you to know I'm willing to work on both sides of the aisle, right? That means Republicans and Democrats, as well as independents and those that are of the Libertarian Party. I'm willing to listen to all in order for me to make an effective judgment call. Why? Because it's people over politics. And guess what? I care about our future. So my thinking is always futuristic. And so I'm going to create a safe environment for my grandkids to be able to grow up in. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you ever so much for coming to the show. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. You're a wonderful host.
Thank you. And that is all we have. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us.
That's right.
And good luck.
Good luck.